1 second, and then I will be switches here. Hello, everybody. We are exceptionally bright. Why is it so bright? Hang on. Let's see if I can turn that down. Looks like the sun is like gazing into my face. Let me go shut one of the blinds. I didn't realize how bright it was. How's it now? I think this is, this is good. A little better. Not staring off into the sunset. How is everybody doing? So I have to queue us up for Cyrodiil. Get us going here. While that's going too, clear out the mail. Answer people's questions. See how everybody's doing. It was outside almost all day today, so now I'm ready to sit down and not be outside. But how is everybody doing? I'm gonna pull up the video I posted earlier today because I was a little confused on this video, and I wanted you to give me feedback on this video. 1 second. So this is the video. Let me pull it up. This is the video right here. People find the title of it misleading. Did any of you guys actually feel misled by it? Because obviously it was people on Facebook. But so this is the title. It's the thumbnail. In the whole video idea is you can convert everything to gold: AP, Telvar, RIP vouchers, fortunes, gold, undaunted keys, crown gems, soul, seals of endeavor, transmute crystals, event tickets, yada yada yada. You guys feel like this is a fair title to use for that content? Because some people said that it was misleading because I didn't put the word guide. So they said that I should put the word guide after gold, but I said that doesn't fit. It's too long. And that the keywords obviously help with the YouTube search and whatnot. So I was kind of like, that's why it is like this. And I was like, I don't understand why people think that this would be clickbait. This is just an all-encompassing video that just goes over all of the currencies. So I was slightly confused. So if you guys have any thoughts or feedback on that, let me know, because I was a little puzzled. But besides that, we are queued into Cyrodiil. Well, I think that Soup, I was like, I was just confused because I was like, normally, clickbait includes like convert AP to gold for like 1,000,000 to 1 or something that's like this item's value is worth like 1 billion and it's worth like not even close. Like that's like clickbait. How can you clickbait somebody by saying, hey, here's how you can convert these currencies to those currencies? It just felt weird. I was just confused. But I do want to thank all of the recent subs. So from yesterday's stream as well as this morning, we have Jakeclips became a member. Wolfgar donated. Travis donated 10 subs, and then Nicholas Passador subscribed. So thank you guys for all of the support on the stream yesterday, as well as the videos today. Yeah, that'll be the title. I turned 1 AP into 1 million gold. Real. I always like when people put real in their titles. I always think if you have to physically type out the word real, it might not be real. 67 people? Well, we'll just sit around the campfire while we wait. Oh my god. That's significantly more people than I thought there would be in the queue. Hang on, I'm gonna run and fill up my water while we're waiting for the queue. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. You know, get the chat popping, so that way we can be ready to go. I'll be back. Alrighty. I also had a question too, because I was talking to some people about this. What alliance is your main character in? What is your primary alliance on your main characters? You have to pick one. Blue for life. Make that man a mod. Make that man a mod. He knows the right answer. Not to give away the correct answer. I mean, feel free to answer honestly. Everybody else, I don't want to discourage you. You know, I've opened so many of these reward boxes, I'm convinced they just give you the exact same items over and over and over again. They just space them out a little. AD if the tune is PvP focused? Why? Would you like to roleplay as the villains? Or the Pact? Alright, you know, I mean, that's the second best answer, but it also makes it the second worst answer, so take that for how you will. I guarantee you none of these will contain 25 transmutes. They contain 4 to 25. We're going to get 4 to 10. 4 to 10, 4, 4, 4. I feel like they say up to 25. Have you ever gotten 25 from any of those ever? Ebonheart Pact is the only correct answer. I guess if it was like a true false, is the Ebonheart Pact better than the Dominion? No, you know, the correct answer is the Ebonheart Pact. I think I'm going to make a meme tier list where I ranked all the alliances, and then S tier will be the Daggerfall Covenant, and then in the like C tier, that it'll be the Ebonheart Pact, and then in the F tier it will be the Dominion. Will I lose a lot of subscribers? Probably, but I have a YouTube apology video ready to go. You know, I come out, I say, look guys, You know, I just need to focus on my mental health. You know, this has been a big learning lesson for me. Maybe I'll do that dance like that one chick did. I'll just do a little symbolic dance. Um, I'll say I've made a terrible mistake. I apologize to everybody involved. I'm going to take some time to focus on myself. And then at the end of it, I just go, just kidding, rip Dominion, elbozos, and then I just play a Party Rock by LMFAO. Bringing a dog, that helps too, exactly. You know, there's been so many YouTube apologies. Have you ever actually listened to a YouTube apology video and thought, yeah, that person's apologetic? Like, ever? If you can find me an example, I will gift you 1,000,000 gold, because I have never listened to a YouTube apology video and thought that guy's apologetic. You had EDP who was like, I thought it was a cupcake. I was just here for a cupcake. You had Logan Paul's. You pick whichever one you want. None of them were really convincing. You had the chick that did the little dance that was like, yes, I sexually harassed somebody that was a minor, but look, I'm doing a dance. Doesn't that just take it all away? And you're like, I don't know about that. I don't think that quite evens out, but to each their own. Yeah, we're gonna have to queue for some battlegrounds or something. It's gonna take 59. Yeah, we'll queue for a battleground. Might as well get clapped early in the day. I think gets the blood pumping like a battleground. Like queue. We'll do that. We'll queue battleground. We should have time to do that. Oh my gosh, we're already in. All right, well that's good. I know I committed a heinous crime, but I'm really sorry. It's always you always have to hit the highlights too. If you ever make a YouTube apology, you always have to hit the highlights of mental health. Granted, you might not have any mental health diagnoses, but it's imperative that you mention it. You have to say, I'm taking time to focus on myself. All right, that's imperative as well. You have to say that you made a lapse in your judgment, that you're not like this. Now, granted, if you're saying you're not like this, but also saying that you're going to focus on bettering yourself, seems a little bit contradictory. What are you focusing on bettering if this was a lapse in judgment? But, to each their own. How's it going, Mr. Medieval Helm? How's it going, everybody? What other alliances are the rest of you guys in? I'm curious. I promise I will not shame you for the alliances that you picked. Very controversially, my first character was actually in the Ebonheart Pact. It was actually a mistake. I thought that my game was glitched and it wouldn't let me create a character, so I just tried to make whatever character like it physically would allow me to. So I just like typed a bunch of letters and then just hit like submit, and then boom, my first character was an Argonian named like. Oh my gosh, Muffin is here. Didn't even queue in with me. That's tragic. What's going on, Mr. Medieval? Is there something I can help you with? Or should I ask you first? What alliance are you in before I offer to help? I'm just kidding. Any of you guys ever experimented, by the way, with Snow Treader's boots with inside of Battlegrounds or Cyrodiil or any type of PvP content? Any of you guys actually like it? I've been thinking about using it real recently, just kind of like like a little fun build. Oh my gosh, I'm actually doing pretty decent. Like usually I just get clapped. First couple battlegrounds, got to get warmed up. How do I gain subscribers? I have one. I'm posting good content. I just need better audio and views. I think the biggest thing about YouTube is you just have to do something that's a little bit different. I could try to give you advice, but unfortunately, I don't think that I'm really that good at what I do. So it's hard for me to give advice because I don't know if I do anything specific that's necessarily good. I mean, I can look. What type of videos do you do? I think a lot of what helped me on YouTube was trying to like gain a community, like posting on Discords, Facebook groups, stuff like that. I think that helped like pretty significantly. Because, I mean, the YouTube algorithm will eventually figure out the people that it thinks are good for your content. But if you just kind of like post and you don't tag stuff correctly, or you don't put like good subtitle, or not good subtitles, good stuff in your descriptions and whatnot, it can get kind of lost constantly. Yeah, they were the ones that don't let you sprint. Like, what type of fantasy like content is it though? Are you doing like guides for fantasy, lore videos? Like, what type of stuff are you doing? Ahoy, ahoy! Or ahoy, hoy, excuse me. Thank you guys for trickling in. I know it's a bit of a weird time to stream. This is actually around when the stream yesterday ended, so I wanted to try to stream during a time period where the people yesterday that were either just joining or weren't able to join, I had some time and ability to join, so I thought this would be a good time period for that. ESO Skyrim, I do tutorials. I will warn you that even though Skyrim and ESO are related, that doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to watch both. I kind of found that out when I was trying to do like other types of content like Skyrim related, is that there's not always like an overlap, right? Because like, so I play Skyrim and ESO, but I never really like, I don't really go on YouTube and look for it, you know. I would say, is it like what type of tutorials is it? Is it like game guides tutorials, or what type of tutorials are you doing? You did a video the other day telling telling us that wait, sorry, the message is moving. Woo! You did a video the other day that I really appreciated, telling us that the Potentate set is for sale and somewhere, but I can't find it. Could you remind me where that is? So the Potentate set is a good set that is currently dropping. It drops from the towns, like the Cyrodiil towns that you can buy it from for 12,000 AP, or you can buy the rings right now for a little bit more. So like all sneaky boys. No, my team. Oh my gosh, there's all four of them up there. Oof, I don't know if I can take on that many people at once in a fight. Oh my gosh, why does his health bar keep changing to blue? I did a woodworking one and a material guide and finding a repair. Yeah, if you like if you make good videos too, like helpful ones, eventually it will gain views. I always joke because it's true. Like, I did a very good gold guide, right? Vlastrus and Cyrodiil. Thank you, Professor. I think that's right for potentates. Um, I did I made like a bunch of videos. The first one was a gold guide because I thought everybody's gonna want to watch this gold guide, right? Because everybody wants to make gold, you know, because gold is, you know, an important resource in the game. And then I made a scrib jelly video just because my friend Travis and I found a really good scrib jelly place, and that video has 8 times the amount of views that the gold guide did. So sometimes it's not necessarily about having a good video. Sometimes it's just about finding something that not a lot of people are talking about in a specific moment. And I think that's where some of my early videos really helped because they were so different. I got 38. Yeah, don't even worry about the time. Like, I wouldn't even worry about like the views after a certain amount of time, because that stuff is just gonna change. It's not really about good or bad. You just want to make sure that the videos are in a like set up in a way where people are gonna find them if they search for it, right? So like that's where you use keywords like gold guide, raw materials. You know, what are some other keywords? Or some other words that would come up. Elder Scrolls Online or ESO, stuff like that. Like making sure that you're putting in words that are going to help people find your video. And then honestly, a decent thumbnail, because I'm not very good at thumbnails. So when I feel like I improved with my thumbnails, I got a lot more views on my stuff just because thumbnails are helpful, you know. Sorry, Muffin. I know you're subscribed to me. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Well, thanks, Bosco. I'm glad that you're here. Yeah, I think even my video, and I like had a whole bunch of my friends watch it because I wanted them to be ruthless when they watched it. I think only, I mean, like after 24 hours, I think I only got like 100 views. And mind you, I have like a lot of Xbox friends and followers just because of the time period I played Ark, the amount of guilds that I was in. So like I had tons of people that would like watch me just because they liked me as a person. Oh my gosh, that is not. Oh, that's not a walkway here. Oh my god. I thought there was a back area here. Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. Almost threw myself off the edge. Yeah, the key is don't stress about views. What you need to do is create a catalog of content. That way people find it and the algorithm starts to kind of learn this is the type of videos that you're producing. These are the type of people that watch it. I would say there's a lot of ESO Facebook groups. There's a lot of ESO Discords, band pages. If you're making ESO content, you can post them there. As far as if you're making Skyrim content, that's something I don't necessarily know as much about, unfortunately, so I can't help you as easily. But I can certainly try to give you just general advice. Like, same thing, like if you are making videos that pertain to like a specific group of people, try to make sure that they see it early on. That little bugger go. Probably run around the corner. Oh my gosh, it's like he's not even healing himself. I wonder if he's got that set that you do more damage when you're at lower health, because it seemed like his health was recovering. Fun build, by the way. I might make a video on that. It's like my fun one-shot build. Jake pays for views, confirmed. Yeah, just pay for... No, actually don't pay for views. So a lot of people think that paying for views helps and or paying for subscribers. The problem is that you want YouTube to find an audience for you. So if you're getting a whole bunch of views from like some random country that's using a view bot, that will do the exact opposite. That will actually harm your channel. It's the same reason that big channels that go viral for a specific reason but then can't replicate it have problems, is because let's say you do a specific type of content, well, you're not doing that type of content anymore, so why are they going to watch you? You know, like what would be the... You have to replicate to keep your audience, and that can be very difficult. Gosh. Has anyone used the Snow Treader's boots? Because I actually really do kind of want to try it. I think it would be fun just to see how it is. I was hoping they would follow me. Fun fact, you can actually knock them back if they follow you and send them back down. I was hoping that somebody would do that. I'm a big lie, so I actually don't know if I know who that is for a Skyrim content creator. I actually don't really watch a lot of Skyrim content. I think that's the problem, is ESO as an MMO just naturally gets a lot of extra viewers just because it's an MMO. You know, like people watch it because there's a lot of facets to it and things that they are interested in. And then Skyrim is different. It's more of like a Let's Play type game that people are interested in. It's kind of like, you know, some people might be interested in lore stuff, and it just becomes a little bit more tricky, you know? It's harder to find that specific group of people who are going to be interested in Skyrim content, in my opinion at least. But I've not, you know, gone down that rabbit hole. Yeah, I think that's what I was kind of thinking. You just kind of use them with speed jewelry, because I think like how many times I could do more. And plus, too, I already have like blink. You know, I've got the sorcerer kit. You know, so I can already run around like a speedy demon. You know, like I'm already fast as fuck, boy. Fast as fuck. You know, so I don't really need to worry about, you know, being slow by sprinting. That's kind of my thinking. I'm by no means an expert. That was a good battleground warm-up. Look at that, 16, 3, and 9. That's not too shabby. Any Bethesda games that you know that are good for content, I'd say Doom. I mean, are you talking about like playing, making guides for? Thank you, Dottie. It's so difficult because like, with RPGs are hard to make content for if you're trying to get started, because there's so many people in that same niche, you know? I might be able to pull up your channel. No, I won't pull it up on stream. I don't want to do that to you. In case you don't want me to. I'm just curious. Needs me to look. Because I could give you some ideas for videos that I've had working on that, you know, I have so many that I don't have time to do them all. So I could give you some ideas if you want to steal some video concepts from me and then try to do them yourself. All right. Go to channel. Sorry, I'm just stalking you real quick. All right, I'll flip it over for you so everybody else can see what I see because you said it was okay. So this is. I need to shift it down so that people can see. These are your first 3 videos. These thumbnails are actually good. I would say these are good thumbnails. If you're the only thing that I would say is that you want to probably put ESO at the beginning of these because if this was recommended to me, and because YouTube recommendations is one of the #1 ways people will see videos, I actually don't know what game this is until I look deep in the thumbnail. And you can see kind of even on my screen right now, looking on a computer, the thumbnail font is a little small. Not that that's bad. I'm not saying increase your font size. I'm just saying like I won't know what game this is just by looking at the front of these. Now this one you can see it says ESO, but these two you can't. And these 2 thumbnails are actually really good. The other problem that you're going to run into is that YouTube really likes videos that are between like 4 and 12 minutes. And all of your videos are outside that optimal range. But what you could do is you could convert the one on the right, even the one on the left, into a YouTube short because that would probably get more traction just because there's not a lot of informational YouTube shorts. You could easily kind of steal that population of people that, you know, are flipping through shorts every day. I won't be able to listen to them because I don't have a way to hear the audio from my computer at the minute because I don't want to play it through my speakers because it'll get captured in the mic. Is that what you thought, David? Because somebody else thought that same thing and thought that I was like clickbaiting them, and I was like, what? What? That was not my intention. So I'll probably rephrase the title on that at some point, just so people don't get confused. Yeah, somebody else was confused by it too, but Kashyyyk seductively holding an eggplant will get you views. But yeah, just keep making videos, and then I would put ESO in the front of all of my videos, and I'll show you that. You can see it. I don't expose myself. I don't think there's anything like bad. You don't. I have accidentally shown my full legal name multiple times on stream. Not that I think that does anything bad, but you can see here I put ESO at the beginning of all of my videos. Just that way you can know immediately this is the game, this is what it's relative to. So that would be the other suggestion that I would have. It's not doxing if you do it to yourself. I don't know if that's true, if that's not your intention, but it would. To be fair, I post these on Facebook already, so it's not like a huge secret as to who I am, you know. And I have no reason to hide. Like I don't post things that are like ultra controversial, you know. So I don't think that posting guides on how to convert your currencies to gold is going to cause a lot of backlash. Is there anything else? Any other tips or things I can help you with, Medieval Helm? First time making it to a stream, wanted to say thanks for the helpful guides. I've been able to earn over 20 millions over a couple months and spend it all on my eternal quest to have every motif. That's great. What console do you play on, Soup? And if you're just joining, I want to know what alliance all of you belong to. So drop it below because I want to know where everyone is. Xbox, that is great. Or were you the one that played on EU? Or were you a different person in my head? Daggerfall, the right answer. AD PCNA. Why do you guys do that to me? This is a really cool looking Jack, honestly. This actually looks pretty dope. I have a conspiracy theory, by the way, and I don't know if this is true. So you know that 150% like uber valuable tort, the one that I don't know why I'm going to my Hot Wheel. I don't have any more and more. But you know these things, right? There's the 150% version of these. I have a theory that you have to have the 50% and the 100 or the 50% one and the 100% one learned before you can get the 151% one from Battlegrounds. So there's three versions: 50, 100, and 150, right? I have a theory that you have to have both the 50 and the 100% unlocked on a character before you can get the item that gives you the 150% white gold tort that drops from Battlegrounds. Because I have done a ridiculous amount of Battlegrounds in my day, and I've never gotten one. And everyone I've talked to that owns it has already had the two other ones in their book already unlocked. So that's my theory, is that the game is coded to give it to you once you have the other one. So there might be some sort of weird coding, and obviously there's a chance that it's, just ridiculously rare, but I believe, my heart of hearts, that it's because of that. It's my conspiracy theory. How's our queue looking? 37. All right, that's not terrible. AD, because we got that big ball energy. Yeah, but not the good balls. Not the chaos ball. PC, DC on A, DC on NA with bad ping from South America. Well, welcome. Aldery, Dominion, Xbox NA, East Side. Everything you said was correct there. Xbox NA, East Side. They just threw in that Dominion. Oof. Oof. Out of curiosity, everybody that says Dominion, I'm just curious, did you guys play Skyrim? Because my brother, he never played Skyrim. He came from World of Warcraft. He never played any RPGs before. He plays first-person shooters, and he plays Elder Scrolls Online. So he's like, I don't care what alliance I'm in. So I'm curious. Do all of you know Sky? So you didn't play Skyrim. Did you play any, like Oblivion, Morrowind, any of the other ones? Or did you just come just because it was a good MMO? Because I've always kind of wrongfully assumed, oh my gosh, I almost just blasted a dog. Dominion, Xbox, and A. Jesus Lord. And I call you guys my viewers. What memento is that? Played Skyrim and WoW. Ooh, messages flying. I've played all the way back to Morrowind. And what alliance were you in, Soup? I missed it, or I forgot. Played Skyrim and WoW. It was rough, but since I didn't think I was going to stick with the game and wound up loving it, I was going to test out my first ever Khajiit character. Khajiits are actually really fun. See, Soup gets it. He played Skyrim and he became a Dominion or a blue character. That's the right answer. No, didn't play Skyrim. Just bought ESO out of nowhere on drop day and played all 10 years until 5 months ago. Oh wow. Yeah, there's quite a few people that have done that, and it kind of surprises me. Thank you for the subscription on YouTube, by the way, Mr. Medieval Helm. Is there any other questions or things that you want me to look at? Played Skyrim for a few days, then stopped. My son gave me ESO in 2016, and I've played ever since. I play on console NA. Well, glad to see another console person. Played Skyrim, said Glitter, and Glitter, you were Dominion. Just out of curiosity, why? Not to put you on the spot, but like, why? We're all here to spy on your Ebon Boner Pact. Been playing since Morrowind. What? I don't know what that means. Curious if there's anything going on in the Imp City. Ooh, looks like all the reds are there. Yeah, I think as an MMO, Sorry, I was flabbergasted by Glitter's comment. In the trailer, the mage was Dominion and I planned on making mag characters. So you let an awesome cinematic trailer that has been viewed like 10 million times influence your decision making? And not metas, best in slot, and emotion? This guy, huh? I do a backup packed character in case the map is red and I want to run scouting missions. That's fair. I've been playing since Arena Elder Scrolls. ESO games are the best, or Elder Scrolls games are the best. How's it going, David? Just started playing games after a 15-year break. Looked fun. Started playing it 3 to 4 years ago, but just actually started back then. While MMOs, it will be my first and only, really. That's cool. I have a theory where Zoss pays people to play AD. That's probably pretty accurate. Somebody asked me for a video concept, and I got pushed down. Oh, Root said, would love a video on the NPCs that give you extra buffs. Came across one the other day who gave me a plus 5% stam buff for 30 minutes. Waiting on my check. I played every Elder Scrolls game and Bethesda game, even Elder Scrolls Redguard and Elder Scrolls Battlespire. That is all the way back. But have you played their trashy mobile games? I do have an Alliance Change token. Maybe that's what I should do. I should start a program where I give out Alliance Change tokens to people in the wrong alliance. That'd be kind of a funny video concept. Imagine a video where I give away like 100 Alliance Change tokens of people. Because you can gift Alliance Change tokens, can't you? Hang on. Now, 1 second. Where are the Alliance Change tokens? Are they in upgrades? Because it is an upgrade getting out of that trashy alliance. Oh my gosh, here it is. And it's on sale. Oh. I think there's another one, another ESO mobile, or not ESO, but Elder Scrolls mobile game. I think it's Castles? I think? Somebody fact check me. Is it ESO or Elder Scrolls Castles? Is that the mobile game that's like coming out or is out or something like that? It would be cool to have everyone in the guild be the same alliance. This is what I'll start. I'll start a program. I'll become the #1 crown buyer in the world. And I'm going to go in to Cyrodiil, and I'm just going to alliance change all the people who are worth redeeming. It'll be like a welfare program. Be like, I bring you guys out of your terrible situations and into a better one. I'll resit 31st in the queue. Oh. Probably have enough time to do another battleground. But I did so well in the first one. Now I'm like, I don't want to mess it up. I don't. Come PCEU, Jake, save me. I don't know about PCEU. You've already picked 2 bad options, both PC and EU. And it's not that I don't like EU servers, but the times I play, there's just no EU people on, you know? I'm just not European. Unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on who you are and how you look at it. Oh my gosh, it's a deathmatch. Alright. Lock in, chat. Hundreds of... Oh my gosh, we could do a Sarah McLachlan commercial. Thousands of people every day are forced to play in the Aldery Dominion. Is it so they have easier access to Blastris and Cropsford? Nobody knows. Are they swayed by the foolish trailers of the initial release? Oh my gosh. We could do something. For just 10 crowns a day, your donation can go towards keeping people out of the Aldery Dominion. That's not welfare, that's called being a tyrant, lol. Got a GM that kicks people if they in a different alliance and attack him in Imperial City. What? Is that a thing that happened? Oh, shoot. Distracted. My whole team is fighting and I'm reading chat. I'm sorry, chat. Don't go into the blades, everybody. Got the streamer debuff. That's true. You would not believe how many mistakes I make while streaming. It's kind of almost hilarious. And a lot of it just comes from a fear that I'm going to do something stupid and everyone's going to make fun of me. That's like where 90% of my stream fear comes from, is like, I don't want to be that guy that does something dumb. Like, oh my gosh, when I ran off the cliff one time in PvP because I was like, I had a slight delay and I was trying to reach chat. I felt so stupid. How's it going, Spell? Oh shoot, he said something long. What's up, Jake? Said making me yip. I got the Abner Thorn daggers I asked you about like a year ago. Finally, what was the context for that? Oh my gosh, I'm getting clapped from behind. There's multiple people back there. That's why. That's why you got to check your rears and your rear view cameras, everybody. Not doing too bad. How are we 2-1 at the bottom of our leaderboard when we are in a death match? That is crazy. Yeah, honestly, Morrowind is underrated. It made some goofy gameplay decisions, like, oh, I don't want to say decisions, because back then, like, fucking nobody knew what to do. There was no, like, manual on making a good RPG back then, just because, you know, the whole concept of RPGs was so new. I mean, Morrowind is like a game that literally defined a generation and literally paved the road. Jakeclips, rah! That's what I like to hear. That's the inspiration I need in a deathmatch game. How many videos did I post before I actually got views? Probably like 10 to 20, somewhere in that. I mean, let me ask this: what type of views are we talking? Are you talking to like breaking 1,000, breaking 10,000, 20,000, or just consistently over 1,000? Like, what's your Morrowind was dope, exactly. Did Morrowind have spellcrafting? I thought that was an Oblivion thing. Am I dumb? Oh my gosh, we can literally finish this guy. Finish him. No, no. Oh my gosh, there's a guy behind me that just ulted me. It's embarrassing. Never get ulted from behind. It just feels weird. The first, I think it took 10 videos before any video of mine passed 1,000 views, and I think it took like 2 months probably. I think somebody can. Well, I don't know how you would fact check, but I think it was about 2 months because I didn't have like a good upload schedule back then because I was just kind of like doing it just to do it, you know. It is seared into my memory that the first time I walked into Bamora during a thunderstorm and saw raindrops hitting the river. Loved Elder Scrolls since. I can't say that I've had the exact same fall in love experience as you, but you know, that's a good reason. I mean, the scenery, honestly, the scenery in Elder Scrolls is like ridiculously beautiful, all things considered. You know, honestly, I'm not too upset about being up here, you know? I can do damage back here. Oh my gosh, I don't know how that dude didn't die. Should have gone for the matriarch. It's like cutting off the head. Damn, everyone got further away now. I have to come down. Actually be at risk of getting hit. Oh my god. What in the world? Oh, I just got hit by like 12 things. Yeah, that'll do it. Oh, 3 and 3. We're not as coordinated as the purple team. We're just getting whacked. They got a dedicated healer too. Imagine if we had a dedicated healer. That'd be so cute. Or they're just about to wax the whole of the red team, then turn around. Just focus on the purple team. How is this person not dead? Oh my god. Get their healer. Please. Is that person right there. Just get that person. They're just spamming heals to keep themselves alive. Just take out that person and their whole team will die like they did at the beginning. Oh my gosh. Oh, my god, my matriarch got killed. Ugh. This is why deathmatch or battlegrounds in general is real hit or miss. It just comes down to team composition, and when they have a dedicated healer, and if you don't, it's just you can't coordinate to kill the healer. They're just gonna keep mass healing themselves, and then they're just gonna slowly win every fight. This guy might not. Jeez, what is my teammate doing? How? How? Oh my god! All right, I don't have any faith. I've lost faith. Take me to Cyrodiil, where it's more fun. Playing a lot of Genesis lately. What is Genesis? I mean, I know the console, the Genesis, but what is the other thing of the Genesis? Morning from Hong Kong. Good morning. We'll hopefully be in Cyrodiil after this, because I am never a huge fan of Battlegrounds, because I feel like they are a little bit lopsided. Oh, it is. You are talking about the Sega Genesis. Okay, I was like, is there a game called Genesis? I think it was a dinosaur game called Genesis. It was like Jurassic Park Genesis. I'm getting hit in the back. I have no stamina, apparently, according to the game. All right. Okay, I didn't want to use any of my inputs anyway. It's all right. Keep those. Keep all those inputs. Keep them a secret. One of my favorite ESO content creators quit playing during Mid-Year Mayhem, or quit streaming, I should say, during Mid-Year Mayhem because the stream input delays. Yeah, you can. The only problem is that if you pick solos, you're just not going to find a match. And even if you do pick solos, it doesn't necessarily stop bad team composition, because you might just have a bunch of people queuing that are all over the place, you know, for what type of content they're good at, or they're healer, not healer, you know. It doesn't necessarily change any of the facts. I made sure I keep dying. I've been on a throwback gaming kick. I mean, that's a good console to do it. Well, the nice thing is the modes aren't super complicated like deathmatch. It's just kill all the people. You know, domination is just take all the points. How the fuck did they steal that kill? I realize that that's Akavash's vow, one of my guildmates. That's the other problem too, is when you play Battlegrounds long enough, is you just recognize all the players you're facing, and none of them are bad. So you're just like, well, I guess I'll just, you know, face the 50 people that I know. 5 and 5. Oh, not ideal. I actually don't mind Chaos Ball. I used to hate it, but it's kind of grown on me a little bit. I just seen that message. Oy, oy, oy. All right, what are we at in the queue here? 25? How was it? How did we go from 60? Oh my god. How did we go to 67 to 30 so quickly? And now it's one battleground is the equivalent to going from 30 to 25. Come on. Even Grey Host is probably going to take forever in a handbasket. Honestly, everybody plays these game modes like they're all team deathmatch anyway. Might as well keep that same mindset, huh? But thank you for those of you who are on Twitch. We're actually not terribly far off from becoming a Twitch partner. Hopefully we can keep the views up and the, I don't know what else they go off of. Oh, they want 12 stream days, I think, a month. So hopefully I can stream 12 days on Twitch in a 31-day period. I don't know if it's like a rolling 31-day period or how they do it, but I'm going to do my best. I need ESO to keep putting drops out, though, because if not, all my people will watch on YouTube, because Twitch is just a weird platform. No offense, Twitch, but you have like 50 ads every 10 seconds. You got this. 10 more days to go. Well, I don't think that they're doing any more Twitch drops. So the Twitch drops end. We'll look. I think the Twitch drops end today, right? Is it not going to tell me because I already have it unlocked? Oh my gosh, I hate you. I just want to know when you're doing them. My goodness gracious. Wait, did it give me 2? It gave me 2 Twitch drops. That's nice, I guess. All right. Sunday, July 28th. Is that today? That is today. Hopefully they do more rewards here soon, though, because I would love to have the ability to give out more than just that. Wait, refresh chat. What did I do? What did I miss? Yeah, there are Twitch drops, but they've been the same. I think it was like this week was Twitch drops. What did I miss, Root? What did I miss? Oh wait, your messages aren't coming up all. Oh, I see. I see. I see. There we go. That's the chat. I was like, what? I was so confused. But now I'm picking up what you're putting down. I was afraid I missed something. Yeah, so it was one of the few modern games I play. In fact, Jake, you were the only modern content creator I watch. Thank you. I feel like I need to do more types of content then. I always have so many video concepts and ideas that I just don't have enough time to do them all, you know? People always say that, they run out of stuff to make videos on, and I'm like, but there's always more stuff. They released the August stuff yet for ESO? I was curious if we had an idea of what monster sets they're doing. Anyone know if they released the monster sets for August yet, or is it still a surprise? It looks like it's still a surprise. I'm also a little upset that they didn't pick any of my guides to put in their White Strakes Mayhem PvP community special. Little upset. I feel like I made some good mid-year Mayhem videos, I could have been on the list. That's all right. How are we at in the queue? 20th. All right, we're in the top 20. Oh, I will say, Glitter, too. I have streamed more than 2 times. I've streamed, I think, 4 times in the last 10 days. It should be the Rings and the Golden, yeah. And, like, it's always weird because I always feel like rings should be worth more than necklaces, but they're really not. I always thought that that was weird, you know? Like, why are you need two rings, but you only need one necklace? So why are rings not like significantly more than necklaces? And I don't know if it's because there's so many mythics that are rings or what it is, but it just never really hit that same value level. I'm at 60 in the queue. Ooh. 19, baby. Woo-hoo. I feel like I need to do something. I'll rewait. So I'll do another battleground just to pass the time. Hopefully we get a low elo one, even though that doesn't ever happen. Maybe we'll get a lot of people who just want to do it for their daily. I really do like that chest though. I do like that. Oh, these are my crown crates? Oh baby. Alright, place your bets. Place the bets in chat. Do we get anything worth more than a single crown gem? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Do you think that I will get anything at all that is worth more than a single crown gem? So anything that's like a decent XP potion, any of the mounts, Mimic Stones at best. That's probably what we're going to get. Where do you think we are going to land? Get rid of these things just in case I have extras, just so that we know exactly how much we profited. What do we think? Riding lesson incoming. That would be big. A riding lesson would be huge. We could easily use a riding lesson these days. In this economy, I'll take a riding lesson. What do we think? All right, boys. Let's open it. Oh! 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 Wait. Is it not? Is there nothing there? Yeah, but there's no glow to it. I thought that if you got a what? Wait, if you get a flip card or an extra card, isn't it supposed to be like something guaranteed to be good? Is it just another card? All right, let's open the other ones. Crown gems. Oh, lethal poison. All right, give me a mimic stone. All right, lethal poison. It's probably going to be another lethal poison. All right, another lethal poison. Oh, an enfeebling poison. All right. Do we think that this is anything good? It's probably going to be a crown mimic stone. If it's a crown mimic stone, you all have to like and subscribe. Damn it. I don't know what happened. I was my expectations were so low, and then when I got a flip card, they came high again, and then they went right back down to low. These are the ones that are worth. These are the shit ones. They're not even worth the 13 gems. Oh my! I got literally 5 gems as opposed to 4. Oh my gosh, that is horrible. Oh my God. I know the flip card was here's a chance. You might get something that's decent, and then the game was like, no. We're 18th in the queue. I'm worried that the battleground's gonna like not find us one. I know. I have never seen a flip card below purple, and this was green, and it was green and worth 1, not even green and worth like 2. My disappointment isn't measurable. Do we unsubscribe now? Please don't. I can't afford to lose anybody. I also have an unhealthy obsession with refreshing YouTube like throughout the workday, and it'll be like you gain 2 subs, and I'm like, let's go. And then if I lose one, I'm like, what did I do wrong? What happened? Did they not like the intro joke? Is it me? All right, 16 might pull us out of the battleground queue just in case. That way, if we find somewhere. I don't want to have to leave a battleground early, but so a lot of battlegrounds games get timed out because everybody there wants to be a little goofy goober and play team deathmatch and not the objective, which, unless it is team deathmatch, will keep us there for like 15 minutes. Every time a capture the relic game gets timed out, I die a little on the inside. I wonder what this guy's about. Let's see. Okay, it's probably an actual ESO player. Every time I see somebody selling crowns in zone chat, I just assume that they're fake. But generally, if you have a really good gamer score, I think that you're probably Actually, let's check. We're just gonna stalk this guy live, see what his achievements are for ESO. Ooh, hidden. I don't know about that. I don't know if it's just telling me 0 because it refuses to tell me. Yeah, I think it's just not gonna tell me. Yeah, no, it's not gonna tell me. Interesting. What's this guy hiding? Come for the SO content, stay for the jokes. Hopefully one day it'll be the opposite. That way I can lure in all types of people. By the way, never sell to these people either in zone chat. Although ironically, these prices are not as bad as they normally are. Not that they're good. Like, that's nowhere near good. But they're actually not all. Some of these are not as bad as normal. What's weird about this is that some of them are close to value, and some of them are way off. Like Luminous Ink 5000? Good luck. But Hajaku for 7k is actually not totally unreasonable. Rosin for 1k is unreasonable. It's just weird that like some of them are like, okay, and then others are like, what? I only get so upset at those people is because my friends gave away a lot of their raw materials to people in zone chat, and they would wait for people like that. That way they could just offload some of their shit and get money. And it hurts when you have friends like that. It's like, oh, okay. I wanted you all to be, broke. Okay, all right. I just feel guilty. I'm like, why? Didn't I teach you better? Also, please don't do what I'm about to do. You should deconstruct these. But I'm not going to, because I just want the inventory space. So please never do that. If I catch any of you doing that, I will lecture you on why you're bad, even though I did it myself. Do I have that one? Oh, script is already done. In the same way, you actually probably also shouldn't sell your soul gems. I had just been kind of selling them just because take up some inventory space, but they actually sell decently well now. Soul gems have always sold for at least a little bit of gold because sometimes you just need them. You're in a trial, you bring in that one guy who's only friends with another guy and he dies the whole time and you have to keep rezzing him, or you're just PvPing and you need soul gems. And so they do actually sell decently well, but one of the new scripts requires soul gems, and that one actually sells pretty well. Or like it's pretty valuable and pretty used, and that causes soul gems to sell pretty well, which I found kind of interesting. Come on. Take me into the Cyrodiil. Come on. Do a PvP. I'll return when I've won 3 matches. Yep. We'll definitely get that one done. You guys remember when you had to keep activating these types of things? You guys remember when everything wasn't passive? I remember. It was stupid. the only benefit to having the actual basins or things that you had to eat or pretend to eat, activate, and then give you the buff for 2 hours or whatever it was, is that after the event ended, if you still had the buff active, you still got the benefit of it. So, like, for example, is if you still had the 2x AP buff, back when, even after the event ended, you could still utilize it afterwards for as long as your buff went on for, which is kind of neat. Because what you would do is when the event ended, you would just activate it on all your characters. Obviously now, that's not necessarily something you can do anymore because it's all passive, but that was literally the only benefit. By the way, if you are doing PvP in a campaign, the campaigns end in 1 day. and you will get to rewards tier 1 super, super fast. Take characters, if you have multiple characters, through and get these 2 rewards tier 1. Please, you will thank me. You'll get transmutes, you'll get gold, you'll get jewelry that you can deconstruct or do what I do and quick sell it because you're lazy. But you'll get a lot of that. And thank you for the YouTube sub, Locky. The funny thing is when people subscribe on YouTube, I don't know if they're here or if they're just watching a random YouTube video because Streamlabs doesn't know. It's just like, hey, this person subscribed, and I'm like, oh, cool, you know? Let me see if I can make it pop up. My Streamlabs has been super weird recently. Well, you have to gain AP on all your characters, Glitter, but gaining AP is super easy. This person wants to pull. Who is this guy? Ow. He just ult me off the bat? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Flip bars too many times. Yeah, and make sure it's your home campaign too, obviously. Make sure you set it as your home campaign, because that is imperative to making sure that that works. Ooh, the deadly combo. Hit it, throw a meteor at them, make them think that they can block, and then streak right through them. I just hope that they don't want to fight like 20 times in a row, because they're both wearing probably the same similar sword build. Quagmire ain't ever going to happen. I've moved like 3 spaces. Yes, do not use Quagmire as your home campaign to do that. You only need to get, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, is it like 20,000 AP to get to rewards tier 1? I'm going to Google this, because I always forget the number. Yeah, so rewards tier 1. Oh, this buff food ran out too. Alright, so this is saying 25,000 AP. Yeah, 25,000 AP will get you to rewards tier 1. I don't know if that's true. That feels a little cattywampus, but I don't know. I don't have enough to disprove it. I always thought it was closer to 20. But realistically, that's not that much. That's like taking 2 keeps or a few. Is it true? Like, is it 25,000 on the dot, though? It just feels like a weird number. Like, it's not even when rewards of the worthy boxes drop. That's why it's like, why is that the number? I mean, I guess that makes sense. 25, 50, 100. I don't know why in my mind that was so weird. Zos. I don't know what you mean by Zos, but if you're responding that Zos is weird, that does make sense. I would give you credit there because that makes full sense. Oh, they just do weird things. That they do. I agree. We're queue position 8. I can feel it. I can feel it coming. I like how the estimated wait time is 7 minutes. I don't know how ZeniMax comes up with these estimated wait times, but they might as well just delete them. And I mean that lovingly, but they're always wrong by far. I feel like it's the opposite of going to Disney World, where Disney World is like, this will take 2 hours to get to this ride. And you're like, all right. I actually don't know if that's accurate because I've not been to Disney World, but I've been to Hershey Park because I, live in PA. And their ride estimator sometimes not always accurate. And if you think about it, Cyrodiil is kind of like a ride, I guess. I don't know where I'm going with this. This is why you shouldn't have streamers be philosophical on stream. We just start saying random shit like, isn't life like a Hershey Park theme park ride? Or I could say things like Hassan Piker, like, isn't working 9 to 5 worse than going to a real job? I'm kidding, by the way. Please don't kill me. I live in PA. Never been to Hershey Park though. I've been there too many times. I want to say like 3 times. You're your AFK character. What? Oh, is this you right here? Yesterday, this dude was losing his mind in Cyrodiil because he lost a 50k tick. If you said something about it, he would whisper and call you an asshole. How did he lose the 50k tick? Is it because somebody killed him or how? Fan of the YouTube videos. Well, thank you, Morty. Been to Hershey for concerts. Yeah, I think they did a Taylor Swift concert there. Was that what you were there for? Exposed. Flip this guy up here. No, I'm just kidding. They do tons of concerts there. But Neglected Soul is a Swiftie, confirmed. Oh, lagged and disconnected. Yeah. I mean, I've had moments where I've, like, gotten angry. I always try to, like, be pretty reserved, though, No Green Day. That's a better option. But what's your favorite Green Day song if you're actually a Green Day fan, huh? See, he didn't respond fast enough. He went there to watch Taylor Swift's Eras tour. Oh my gosh. There's 5 people. Come on, Cinemax, come on. I can't type fast. That's what they all say. I watch a lot of people who like mess with scammers on YouTube. If you're a Green Day fan, how much green do you wear daily? What was I even saying? Oh, I watch a lot of people who like mess with scammers, and they'll ask them questions like, "Oh, what time is it?" And then they have to be like, You hear him like typing in the background. And they give the same excuses. It takes me a while to look at my watch, Cookies is my favorite album, but All By Myself is probably my favorite. Dookie. Is it Dookie or Cookies? Those are 2 very different answers. Happy Sunday, Charisma. 3rd in line. Autocorrect. Allegedly. That's exactly what a Taylor Swift fan would say. I keep my watch in a lock safe, so it just takes me a while to check it. Yeah, if only you were like on a device too, like when you're working at a call center that like had a time attached to it that you could see, like in the top right corner. That would be like crazy, you know? Wild, huh? If only, yeah. They're doing scams over there on Rolodexes. My daughter is a Swiftie, though. I'm so sorry. I assume I'm actually talking a lot of smack. I actually have listened to some of Taylor Swift songs, and I'm like, it's not that. That's not that bad. It's actually pretty good. Like Shake It Off. You can't listen to Shake It Off and be in a bad mood. It's just a decent song. Where is... Oh my gosh, we're third. Well, how about that airline food, huh? You know what was crazy is I went to see my family. Was it last weekend? Maybe it was the previous. No, it was last weekend. And they were just like, "You got any dad jokes on you?" And I was just like, "Is that all I am to all of you people, huh?" To be fair, my family does actually like my stories too. But sometimes I feel like my work stories can be really sad because they usually end with somebody going to jail or being found guilty of a crime. But some of them were just ridiculous. So like this is the very first referral slash investigation I ever shadowed somebody on. Right. So this was the first one. I just want you to keep in mind. This was numero uno. Right. There was a report that was made because a child said in school that every time the lights turn on in her house, flames shoot out the walls. Right. So slightly problematic because there's a lot of kids in the home. If you got light switches that can, power flames from the side walls, that could be potentially pretty threatening. So we go out, I was shadowing at the time, and I was expecting this to just be something goofy, because it was a young kid that made the report, right? It was I want to say they were in elementary school, probably like first, second grade. So it's like, okay, like maybe somebody turned on the light and then a light bulb exploded or something. So we go out there, it's in like the middle of the woods. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're about to be wrong turn 3, out here. And we go up, knock on the door, and we're like, hey, this is why we're here. We just got this report. It says that you have flames shooting out of your walls, and we just need to make sure that your walls are flame proofed. And turns out they said they did it. It turns out their their outlets actually shoot flames out of them. I never got to see it because obviously that would be irresponsible. But they said that they have had problems with their water line and their electric line, and ever since they've been having flames shoot out the wall in one of their rooms, and they just turned off the circuit breaker for that room. That way none of the kids accidentally turned it on. So I was like, you mean to tell me that you actually did have flames that shoot out of your walls? And they did. God bless them. I just also want to note too that they weren't like found to be guilty of child neglect or abuse. Obviously, there's just weird shit that can happen every so often. Like if one day one of your kids turns on a light and flames shoot out of the wall, you're not going to be found guilty of abuse for turning off the circuit breaker and then trying to fix it. It was just funny because I was like, oh wait, this is true. Because a lot of investigations that I've done, like realistically, the most popular person that calls in reports is like an angry family member, or it's like during a custody battle, And like custody battles are fierce. You know, like they just say all sorts of shit. And if any of you've been through it, mathematically, I'm sure a few of you may have been. It's brutal, and it's just sad to like see people have to go through that level of animosity towards each other. I love this is the first moment. This is the first thing we see coming in. 500 Donnie Dookie. I literally cannot name one Travis Swift song. I don't think Travis Swift is the. I think you're thinking of Travis Scott, but I could be wrong. Yes, if any of you guys have flames that shoot out of. Actually, is there anyone here that could tell me why potentially that would happen? Because unfortunately, because I was shadowing, I never really got to hear like the explanation at the end. I was just curious, like, does anyone know why? Any electricians or plumbers or arsonists in the chat that can tell me why potentially your outlets would do that? Poor wiring. I mean, yeah, that'll do it. I managed to get all my tickets tonight, aka Cool Kez. There you go. Bad wiring. Do you think that it had something to do with the liquid, or do you guys think it was just wiring? They said they were having plumbing problems too, but I don't know if they were related, or if it was just one of those things where it's like this whole house is fucked up. Like, it was crazy too. It was like an actual house. It wasn't like a it wasn't like a trailer or like rundown, squatted in home or anything like that. It was just like normal family in a normal home, like not one that you would think anything bad was happening. If water hit the poor wiring, then it could cause all kinds of issues. Maybe that's what happened. I was just curious too, like how it created a flame, because it's like flames are different than like sparks, you know. That's why I was like, how the hell did you manage that? Like, I was kind of impressed. Like, okay, good for you. Like, I've never heard this before. Granted, it was the first thing I've heard, but belt of bad performance. What is this? I need this. This belt twitches slightly when objects are thrown at its wearers. This is incredible. Oh where do you find this item? I need to keep it in my inventory at all times, and then link it to people. When I was a kid, the light switch in the bathroom would shock you when you turned it on. I enjoyed getting shocked, so I liked it. I don't know if that's something you might want to look into later in life. Like, that could be something I could develop into some sort of bad habit. I don't know what. Hopefully you're not paying, like, females to shock you or anything. Hopefully you don't resist arrest just for the fun of it, hoping that they tase you. I'm kidding, by the way, but had some people with some unique experiences. Overloaded circuits. That makes sense. It's that. Thankfully, it only happened in the one room, too. That was one of my more funny stories, though, because I'm like, first case, first investigation, you know? And then the first court hearing I ever had, also very memorable, because, so, CPS is required to notify you for all your hearings, right? Because if this is a termination of parental rights hearings, I was shadowing it. Mom was a coke user and dealer, and she was on the run from the police. Eventually, she was picked up by the police, and then she was basically brought to the court and was like, "Hey, you're going to have your termination hearing because you refused notice." And she said, "Oh, I didn't refuse notice. I was just hiding from the police in every government agency. Therefore, I didn't refuse service." So that was her legal argument. I didn't refuse anything. I was just hiding. And I was like, that's a good argument. And fun fact, it worked because they just rescheduled it for 30 days out. to make sure that they gave her her legal right to have a 30-day notice. So if you guys are ever running from the police, this argument may work for you. The hide and seek law, exactly. It's actually the hide and seek exemption. I had this a dad that tried this once, and he was also a fugitive from the law. And we were just trying to terminate so the kid could get adopted. He had never seen his dad before in person. He'd only ever talked to him on the phone a few times. And I hear that I enjoyed jellyfish stings. Oh gosh. And I spent so much time looking for him and leaving my card in places that he called me and asked him to please stop trying to find him and that he'll meet me somewhere and sign the document that says that I served him notice. And then I could just go home then. It was incredible. I got myself a milkshake that day. I deserved it. Like knocking on all these doors to family members. I went to like 2 homeless shelters because he had been there. And the funny thing is he was using aliases. So I'd be like, hey, you know, I think it might be this guy. He might also be using this alias of this. You know, I was prepared. I was ready. I'm looking for a John hot dog. I'm actually looking for a Ben Dover. Anyone seen a Ben Dover? I mean, let me tell you, doing social work, kind of fun though. You know, every day's different. The only problem is if you want to be a streamer to go along with it, it can be a little problematic because if you are trying to you're trying to plan a streaming schedule, it'd be a little tricky. Reverse polarity if the hot wire is on the wrong side of the receptacle, and even when you turn on the switch, the device still has power. The circuit is only broken at the switch, can shock you. Do you know if David, if that would cause flames though? Because it was flames, not like shocks. That's what really confused me. No, but I know Tapitis is around. I worked for Child Protective Services, little. So that's what I did for a long time. I don't work for them currently. I am working for a hospital now, and so I can go back to school and get a master's degree. Because you can only do so much of the bachelor's degree. You have to get a master's if you really want to progress in the field. But I don't get tuition assistance for. I work for an organization that gives a lot of tuition assistance. You just have to work there for a little bit, so I have to wait until next year before I can start school. Then I can do live streams where you guys, where I'm like, hey guys, can you help me write these papers? Does your job impact on how you parent your own children? I actually don't have any children, but I did sign up to be a respite parent. That way I could still support people in the community. You know, like I could still be a positive support for people. So I volunteer through 2 agencies, and I may become a full-blown foster parent. I just don't know because my schedule is so chaotic. That's just where I don't know, you know. Oh, it's supposed to be a dislike tip of this. It's one of those kinds of jokes. I gotcha. Somebody sent me a message. Templar going in. Oh my gosh, is it somebody killing me? I bet you this guy's killing me. We'll see though. Maybe appreciate my parents though, which only boosted their egos even more. I was like, I appreciate you. I knew I loved you. Hashtag pause. Well, thank you. Yeah, I think that like it's hard because sometimes I feel like there's different versions of myself that I'm like competing with what I want to do. You know, like there's part of me that really wants to wait, that's not this. Did he kill me? This might be. I don't think I faced He's juice in a battleground. Let's see though. You guys see my character? That's the question. You see the helmet? Like and subscribe, bros. Thank you. Oh, this is a long clip. I'm gonna have to speed this up so I don't get murdered. Sorry, juiced. Ask your parents why they never got a cool firewall. Just put down any team that came there. Yeah, it gave me an appreciation for like how strong family values and having good parents can give you a really good head start in life, just because you don't fall for common traps. The sad thing is the people that I work with, they fall into these dumb debts through like a firm or for like layaways, pay as you go, credit card debt. I had somebody have a 30+% car loan. It was either like 31, 32, or 33% interest car loan. Like a $10,000 car over the 6 or 7 years that they had that car, they were literally paying off what would have been a brand new like Tesla. At the time, that was just my example. I was like, literally, this $10,000 like beat me up car that you're paying off over time is literally going to give them more money than if you had bought a Tesla at 0% APR, which is crazy. Maybe you feel terrible for their situation. That's the part that I feel the most bad for, because people think that like, a lot of parenting just comes down to like not beating or abusing your kids, and that's important. Obviously, don't do that. But there are kids that I've worked with, teenagers, families that because I work with families too, not just at the time I was working with children, but I would also work with like vulnerable families. Like they just don't know anything, and like they don't know how to read leases, they don't know how to pay their car loan off. A lot of times they just kind of just don't know what to do, or they just don't do anything, and it just causes so many problems for them in the future. It's crazy. Their bills will get shut off just because they don't pay them, just because they don't know how to, or they just give up. Like I had a family that like they had to pay like through a money order or something, couldn't figure out how to get it done, and they just didn't do it. When I was a young private in the Army, a lot of other young privates made really dumb financial decisions. Exactly. That is, yes, the military is another breeding ground of poor financial choices. Not that joining the military is a poor financial choice, but people who join the military make poor financial choices. That's the part that I feel most bad for in the young generation, is like there's so many predatory video games, car loans, payoff, payday loans. Payday loans are probably the biggest scam that ever exists. And you've got so many people that are just falling prey to these things, and it just hurts your financial success in the future. And it's horrible, and I feel for everybody involved, because it's one thing to make bad financial choices because like you're selfish or you're living above your means. It's another thing to go, okay, well this is just a $10,000 car, like that's reasonable. I'll pay it off over 6-7 years. Like a lot of people on the face of it would think like, okay, young family, in their early 20s, $10,000 car, but they don't read the fine print, see the interest rate, and then they realize how much they're paying off over time. I pushed a young man in college who wanted to quit. He's making $90K a year and calls me every year now. That's awesome. That's the nice thing too about when you get to help people. And I think as long as you help people in a reasonable way, and where I always think that I did well in my line of work, and still do well even in the healthcare field, because obviously I still have to deal with the same type of population, is you just have to do it in a non-patronizing way. Like I sometimes feel like a lot of my coworkers would be insulting. Like for example, I've had like 5 kids say, for example, that they want to be a YouTuber, and their parents would laugh, or their foster parents would laugh, and then I'd be like, I'm a YouTuber. I wouldn't say what I would do, but I'd be like, this is how like you can do it. And I don't say like, quit your job, put all your money into it. I would say the only way you can do it successfully is if you work a primary job and then you utilize that job, or utilize YouTube, Twitch on the side, and people will see your passion for whatever you're talking about. But if you come at it from a solely financial point day one, you're probably not going to build an audience, because people are not going to want to be in a situation where they're just watching someone who, they can tell is just trying to milk them for money. Like nobody watches Boogie 2988 anymore except to watch the disaster that he is. So, utilize a full-time job, ideally find one that'll pay you a lot of money. So there's nothing wrong with working a job just for the money, and then use that money to then enhance your hobbies. And then if your hobbies can become a full-time job, do that. And this is how I would lay it out. Like, these are, good starter mics. These are good jobs that'll pay you a lot of money, and you can go and you can get these things and then utilize this to attain your goal. I think that if you immediately tell somebody that they can't do something, you're not setting them up for success. I think that it's important to be honest, but I would always say, like, it's difficult, but if you want to do it and I had to do everything over again, I would do this, this, and this. And don't expect to live off of it for a long time if that's your end goal. These are genres that make more money. This is how RPM works. And then these are full-time jobs that would be flexible, that would pay enough money to where you could buy like decent mics, webcams, etc., and be decent at it. Yeah, I actually never had a home economics class, which is kind of something that I always thought was a bit weird. And they never used to give car loans over 5 years. That's true. It's so much more manipulative now what they can do with car loans. And it makes me just feel guilty, honestly, like what gets done to people. It's like, don't. I just feel like the world is made to take advantage of people these days. That's what makes me a little sad sometimes. Plus, like, my direct coworkers were all in their 40s through 60s. And so if you asked a 40 to 60-year-old how to become a content creator, they probably would have no idea. So it was fun to be able to be like, oh yeah, I do that. I mean, I don't make, like, I'm not living off of it, but I can still give you advice and tips on how to do it. Parents do often hide finances from their kids. That's very true. I've also noticed that a lot of parents also manage their finances poorly. And I don't mean that in a rude way. I just mean that in a way like I've seen it a lot, where you've got people who just don't know that certain things, certain habits are bad, certain things are pitfalls. Like, a lot of people, I guarantee you, if I polled every family I worked with, if they even knew what interest on a loan was, I would say probably about 20% even knew what interest on a loan was and how it affected it. Or not even how it affected it, just that there was interest. I don't even think that conceptually they grasp that. And it's just hard because the most vulnerable people grasp the least of how to make themselves not as vulnerable. That's the hard part about the job is that you are in situations where you constantly find yourself working with people who just don't grasp how they can easily get themselves out of the situation because they don't really fully grasp why they're in it and how to get out of it. I may or may not have handed him a thumb drive to help him out. I don't know what that means, but I hope it's a good thing. Is it like a step-by-step how-to guide? Does it have like a Bitcoin wallet in it? I don't know. I promise I won't go on a lecture about social work stuff. Pinky promise. That siege merchant just went invisible and then popped out of invisibility. That was weird. That was trippy. Ironically, the people that I worked with that were the best at finances were people whose parents were like either small business owners or people that talked about finance with them. You can just see the difference in people who've had hard conversations about finance with their family. And I understand, like, you don't want to, like, I think a lot of parents don't want to stress their kids out with about finances because it could be definitely very stressful, especially if you're like middle class, lower middle class, or in poverty, which unfortunately that was the majority of people I worked with. But it's hard because the cycle of people who are in poverty are born into poverty, generally, And there are so many government organizations that exist to help people get out of poverty. The problem is that it's not always giving money to a problem. It's not always, creating a service to help people. If you're not solving a problem holistically, you're just going to continue to have problems in the futures. I've been getting hit in BGs with something that kills my stam and mag pool. Probably a poison. I think people use poisons that can help get you a little reduced. But I appreciate you all for being here. This is a unique time for me to stream. I don't think I've ever streamed this late on a Sunday because usually I just sit in despair in a corner and cry and rock myself back and forth. Monday's tomorrow. That's usually my normal Monday or Sunday night routine. That way I can prepare for Monday. I don't know if you guys all work on Mondays. I've noticed that when I ask on stream a lot of you guys have like unique schedules. Like the last guy I was talking to said he worked third shift, and I was like, God bless, because last time I worked third shift, I was crushing up caffeine pills throughout the night because couldn't do it. I would like. I thank you for the Twitch Prime subscription, Soup. Thank you. Did it pop up on screen? I missed it. There's supposed to be an audio cue with it, but I have my audio cue turned off. But God bless. Sorry for being quiet. I'm playing too. No, feel free. Talk as much as you want. Just listen. If you guys want more stories, ask for a story. I've got so many stories that I could be a true crime podcast. I got crazy stories that are just wacky. I've seen some wacky items when I've gone into people's houses because I've done probably 600 field visits. Recently started working with an escape room company. That's been fun. That's it. It's probably the most unique job I've heard anybody say when I've been streaming. That's actually really cool. That is actually really cool. Is it like a one that goes places, or is it one that's like pretty stationary? Like I know there's an escape room company near where I live, but they like move. I'm retired now after 18 or I'm retired now from healthcare after working for 18 years. I took an early retirement, more time to game now these days. That is probably the best answer I've ever gotten for what people do for a job, retirement. As long as you keep yourself busy. My parents, they hated retirement. Stationary. Okay, that makes sense. What is the saddest case I've ever had? The saddest case I've ever had probably resulted in. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm playing on console. The saddest case I've ever had resulted in a child fatality of one of the teenagers I worked with. It was a really sad case because I had left to go to my new job, and he got a new caseworker. He ran away. Didn't trust them, and was really upset about quite a few things that were going on. And he ended up passing away of a drug overdose with his girlfriend. It was really sad. I found out about it when I was at my new job. That was definitely up there. I've also had a parent that passed away that was really sad because she refused to get medical treatment. And I put a lot of effort into it, trying to convince her to get medical treatment, but she didn't want to leave the house because she thought that was going to inhibit her ability to get her children back. She had been to the hospital, and she thought that if she went to the hospital, they were going to recommend a rehab, and then her not doing the rehab was going to lead to us not letting her go back to her kids because we would say this person's not going to rehab. That was sad too. I've had quite a few sad cases, but it's probably the one that resulted in the teenager dying, and then the mom dying. Because, like, for as long as people are alive, you know, you can always get your life at any moment. You can be 60 years old. You could always be, you know, you can be 10 years old. You can turn your life around at any point. Schedule is wake up noon, drink 8 cups of coffee, make lunch, and drink beer for the rest of the day. God bless. I was going to ask, how do you think poverty and drug use go hand in hand? Hashtag unfortunately. I think that the two leading causes of poverty, I would say, are lack of knowledge and substance abuse. And I don't think it's because substance abusers are trying to be impoverished. I think it's because it's when you don't have enough money to use substances, you get fired. Like, you're more likely to lose your job when you're on substances and using very frequently, so you can't work very consistently. Um, and you know, when you lose your job, you're low income, you're spending all your money in places that you shouldn't be spending it, and then boom. Can low income retirees still get utility or food assistance even if they have retirement savings? The savings would have to pay for auto repairs and other unexpected expenses. The answer is yes, David. It depends on the state. Each state, I believe, has a different amount of savings you can have. It usually ranges, I think, between like $5,000 and $20,000 in like direct accessible savings. If you're in a situation where you have a disability, you can also put your money into a special disability account where it won't count against your other ability to get benefits. But generally, it just varies a lot between states. What I would suggest if you're in that situation is talk to your county assistance office and just say, hey, is there any way I could qualify for X, Y, and Z? Also, and I'm just telling you this as a social worker, if you have kids, if you've got people that you trust, you could always just give the money to them. I know quite a few people that have done that. Unfortunately, because it's like, you know, okay, it's like if, so say for example, my dad needed to have less money in savings, he could just give me his money and I would hold on to it for him. Quite a few people go into that situation to avoid, because welfare offices or any sort of government agency assistance may have a cap for you can only have so much money in savings, and usually it's between $5,000 and $20,000, and that will be determined upon by the state and or the local county assistance office, depending on where you are. I did not expect social work questions, but feel free to ask as many as you want. Slightly worried about my video being age restricted. Talking about some heavier subjects. Not that it makes a difference. I mean, I don't care. I'm not doing this for the money anyway. If you get, we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, you know. How's it going, Big Daddy Mango? Mutual funds, so cannot get money out until broker sells the investments. Ooh, if you have money in, I think it's a different rule too. So there's the savings or the mutual funds that like Roth IRAs, I think, have different rules than certain investment funds. I think that it just, I would say talk to your county assistance office. Can having 4 heart attacks in 2 years allow a DCFS, is that DIFUS? I know that they're called different things in different states, to come take my kids? In theory, no. So there are 14 safety threats that allow for a removal of a child. And I'm sorry, I missed your question about scouting reports. Yes, doing scouting reports is always an easy one to do. Sorry about that, Alan. So 14 safety threats, right? So the one that would be most relevant to heart attacks would be a caregiver physically cannot take care of a child, right? That would be the safety threat that would be the only one that applied, right? The agency would have to prove that you cannot care for your kids on a level that makes them unsafe. Unsafe would mean that there's a serious threat, there's an observable threat, it's out of control, and they're vulnerable. They would have to prove all of those, and it's imminent. So it would be, you know, something's going to happen that, you know, in the next 30 days. You can't, you know. imminent is something bad could happen very quickly. It has to be within 30 days. So it would be very difficult to prove those elements. No. So the other thing too is there's called it's basically mitigating circumstances. It's got a more fancy name, but just think of it mitigating circumstances. So you as a caregiver can be recovering from something. Like my mom had a bunch of heart attacks and health problems, and she's got a thing in her heart. In those situations, my grandparents would come help. Like that's just how it was. Or my dad was deployed, so he sometimes could help, sometimes couldn't. But that's just a mitigating circumstance. There's plenty of people that go to the hospital every single day in this country for no fault of their own. CPS, DCFS, DIFUS, whatever they're called in your state, Children's Bureau, yada yada. They can only remove your child if essentially you're not there to take care of them. And unfortunately, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a situation if that's ever happened before for a health problem. I don't think it is. No, there was a situation where it almost happened, but it dragged on for about 3 years, and it almost happened. Let me answer the rest of the other questions, and I'll talk about what happened in that situation. But that was for cancer. My apartment building just got approved for Section 8, so now we're getting a lot of low-income people and housing assistance. I have some savings, so I'm hesitant about applying for Section 8. Well, the nice thing is like you can always apply. Like I would, there's no harm in applying. And then Alan says, "All good. I should likely change my display name to match my alias." I mean, it's okay. That's all right. Oh, hi, BB. Sorry, I missed your thing. And you're from Azerbaijan. I did not know that. I feel like I should have known that because you've been here quite a few times. But the situation involved cancer, and the child was involved with our agency for 2 years. The problem is that mom was not ensuring that there was food in the home and that the child would go to school. The child had missed over 100 days of school and was consistently without food, but mom was undergoing cancer treatment for 2 years. And she was chemotherapy. It was bad. She didn't have a lot of social support. So we were in this tough situation where we were involved to help the family, but mom was utilizing her cancer treatment as almost a get out of jail free card. Like, well, if I can't get food, I can't get food. That's not my fault. And it's like, I understand that, but just because you can't get food doesn't mean a child doesn't deserve to eat. Do you understand our concerns? So we would get her connected with, places that could deliver food. There's quite a few food banks that will deliver to you in the area. So we got her connected with that. So the food is obviously the most important concern in situations like that. Obviously, food is essential. And the truancy, though, continued. And the truancy continued actually after I had left that department before I started working with different types of people. So I switched from working primarily with people with substance abuse and families that were at high risk. And I switched to working with people who were transitioning out of the foster care system or families that were like in their early 20s and just needed somebody that they could talk to a little bit easier. So I kind of shifted to that population of people. And so I ended up I gave her case back, and I don't know what happened to it, but I was kind of worried that the judge was going to, come in and be like, enough is enough. Your truancy is too bad. You either got to fix it or, the kid's going to go somewhere else. But I don't know if that ever happened. That's the only situation a health problem outside of the control of the parent has ever been used against them. But it wasn't, if anything, though, it gave them more credit because I'll tell you what, if any other parent had their kids miss 100 days of school and then their kids went without food for a significant period of time, the majority of people would have lost their kids at that point. But because they were a cancer patient going through chemotherapy, we really made sure to do everything. Obviously, we would do everything anyway because nobody wants kids to be hungry. And thankfully, there's tons of food banks. Like if you live in a city or live in an area, I would almost guarantee that there's food banks and stuff nearby. And she even had the ability to get some delivered, which was great. Then it just became a straight truancy problem. And for those of you who don't know, truancy is just missed school days. 100 missed school days might on the surface just sound bad, but that's also the kid's future. If you're missing 100 days of school, you're missing 100 days of education. And it becomes very tricky Because after a certain amount of days, you have to file in the court to say, like, hey, there's a problem here. We need you to come provide dependency for this. But that was probably one of the harder cases to ever work on, because a lot of times it's cut and dry. Like, for example, I had a person chain a child to a furnace because they didn't want to parent them, and then they would just get wasted and then pass out, and they would just leave their kid chained to a furnace. That's cut and dry. Like, there's no, even in those situations, generally the parents don't even fight back in court. They're just like, yeah, probably shouldn't have done that. And they'll get attorneys and everything too. Like, you get a free attorney in the court system, so if they can't polish everything up, you know you really messed up. So a lot of stuff's pretty cut and dry when it comes to stuff like, was there heroin on the table? Probably not a good, safe environment for children. It's just that easy, you know? Oh, my cat's back. You want to say anything to your people? You want to say anything? We were telling stories. Is that why you came out here? You want to hear the stories? Maybe he's not going to say anything to you guys. I'm sorry. One time, I just want to loud me out into the mic, please. I hope that answered your guys' questions, by the way. That was a very long tangent about stuff. You guys feel free to ask me hypotheticals, though. I think we did that on one of the earlier streams that I did, just because it's an interesting concept. A lot of people think, oh, well, if I hit my kids for discipline, then they'll get taken from me and stuff. And it's like, well, it's not really true, but you know, I could give you the breakdown as to what would make it abuse versus not abuse. Also, I think YouTube chat is broken again. Let me fix that. I should reset the chat. Hopefully YouTube chat comes in this time. Sorry, YouTube chat. If the VA assigns you a fiduciary, will it be flagged from gun ownership? Gosh. I don't know. That also probably will depend on the state. If I was in the Elder Scrolls universe, what race would I want to be? Probably Bretons, because I feel like Bretons aren't elves, so they don't have to deal with all that mumbo jumbo that they deal with. Like, I ain't being a wood elf. I'm not eating a human just because he died in my homeland, all right? I'm not about to do that. But Bretons also still can use magic, but they also live at, like, Glenumbra. Like, this whole region of the map is beautiful. This whole region of the map down here is dangerous as shit. Like, you got elves that eat people. You got Khajiit, who are cats that are being invaded by dragons. That's probably suboptimal for your living experience. Like, there's just a whole lot of hoopla that seems to be going on down there that I'm not interested in. And, like, even Skyrim, like, there's fucking mammoths, giants walking around all over the place. Like, who wants to be a Nord and actually live in Skyrim? It's cold. Like, if you were to imagine the temperature of, like, Glenumbra, it's probably pretty good. I imagine this is like a 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit land, you know? I know technically the question was what race would you want to be, but, like, in theory, you know, like, you gotta wager the homelands too, you know? Let me throw that to you guys. If you had to pick, I'm curious. We'll start here. If you had to, you feel free to answer either question or both. I guess I'll ask them both at once. If you could live in any Elder Scrolls zone, what zone would that be? And then, if you could pick any race, what would it be? Rift would be nice. Have you listened to the zone chat in Riften? Hello? Aren't there, like, also, like, very hot springs outside of the Rift? That could be, like, problematic for your health too. High elves have it good. That's not uncommon. Zone chat's not canon. You know, but have the developers ever said that it's not? That's a statement, not a question many people don't know about. Oh. I did not know that. But I don't know if that's universal. Somerset because I like clams. You know there's actually more clams right now, Travis, inside of High Isle? Does that change your opinion? Somerset. You guys do remember that Somerset was invaded by like a gigantic mechazoid, though, right? You guys remember, like in the lore, where like, you know, is it Talos or Tiber was like, you know, literally walked a gigantic dwarven thing and then like attacked Somerset with it. That could be kind of jarring. But I do think Somerset is in theory the best place to live if you're a high elf. But then it comes down to, do you want to be a high elf? You know, if Zone Chat was canon, anything but Arteron. Do you think Arteron is worse than Rift in Zone Chat? Nords annually take the polar bear plunge. They might have trouble staying cool in the Alakir Desert. Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to go to the Alakir Desert, but at least it's not being invaded as much by a terrible thing. It would be nice to either be a Redguard, not living in a desert, or Argonian in deep black marsh. But like, I don't know, like I feel like you gotta have a really good relationship with the trees. You know, like you gotta be like a hippie. Because like, what if the trees hate you? ESO before that invasion of Somerset. It is before the invasion of Somerset, but they get invaded by gigantic slugs with psychic powers. And is that better or worse than being? Would you rather be invaded by gigantic psychic slugs or a gigantic dwarven megazoid? Ask yourself, what's better? I'm a Breton but love Alinor. Depends on the time year. That's very true. Black Marsh Ball during the Oblivion Crisis. That's a good point. It did. It was balling during the. I'm pretty sure Black Marsh just got like high on drugs and then just sent their Argonian warriors in, you know. And then Maroon's Dagon was like, "We got to close these portals in Black Marsh." The depravity of Arteron is unmatched. I feel like I've not been there enough. I need to go to Arteron more. I feel like I'm missing out on the Zone Chat lore. I would also like to be a Thalmor because I could be on disability for being blind. Is being blind 100% disability? That's what I was curious about. I was helping a veteran this week, ironically, apply for VA benefits, and I was curious like how their stuff might stack up, just because VA benefits seem like they're all over the place. Wood elves who do not eat plants seem hostile and strained. Yeah, don't they like eat people? They like kill people and then eat them, just like as they are. Ugh. My father is blind, and because he can still work, and for the record, he enjoys working, he can draw benefits? Or he cannot draw a benefit. Is that VA benefits, though, Dottie? The VA is usually generous with giving people... I mean, if it was service-related stuff. Talk to Travis about it, though. He's going through it. He'll help you. Oh yeah, food stamps and that. Yeah, unfortunately the local governments have a lot less sympathy for people. The VA does have, I think, a decent amount of sympathy. The problem I think with the VA is they just have so many people, and the problem is I don't think that they have a lot of tools to help problem solve. You know, like one of the things that frustrates me about my current job versus my old one is now I work in healthcare. I can only do so much. Like, I can help point you to places. I have a cheat sheet for, like, all of the local providers that do food, shelter, abuse, everything you could ever need, right? It's literally alphabetical. It's like 40 pages long. I'm not even being hyperbolic. It is 40 pages plus. And it has everything. And I can help make calls and stuff with you, but, like, I don't control as much funding or I don't control as much, like, power to solve problems. I kind of have to I kind of almost have to just guide you, and it's a little more frustrating. I kind of miss having more authority over agencies to be like, hey, I'm about to solve this for you, you know, versus can't do that, but I can point you in the right directions. I just hate pointing people in the right direction. That is true too about blindness. It's not necessarily, there's different tiers, levels, and things too. Every time I drive on the road, I think to myself, these people are blind. I actually got cut off pretty bad today. I thought I was going to get into an accident. I was like, okay, all right, well. It's like one of those highways that you like have to drive across to like get to the other side of it. And this guy just pulled out right in front of me. And I was like, Okay. I had to like slam on the brakes, so I did like T-bone him, which, you know, would be not great for either of us. Every zone has its problem. Glenumbra had a dead king wandering around, super murdering people back in Elder Scrolls 3. That's a good point. There are zones though that I noticed none of you said. Nobody's volunteering to go to Morrowind. Why is that? You guys don't want to literally see your own god holding up a volcano above your heads, or a meteor, or whatever it is, or gigantic rock? I don't know if they call it a meteor or not. But you guys don't want to go see your literal deity holding up a gigantic rock above your heads? Would that be too traumatizing? Nobody said that. Nobody even mentioned Deshaun or Mordhold. God, like, come on. Nobody wants to go to the Trade Center of the Elder Scrolls Online universe. You guys all rather go to Somerset like weenies. Nobody also said Rothgar, probably because it gets burned to the ground every couple years. Or maybe not burned, maybe just destroyed and then rebuilt constantly. But think about it. If you lived in Rothgar, right, your home has been made recently because all of the homes are constantly destroyed. The whole city is burned to the ground. I'm all for Dark Elves, but I don't know about the volcanoes. Exactly. Altanum is beautiful like a resort location. You know, honestly, where I'm about to give you the greatest answer of where is the best place to live. I think from both a lore perspective and a beauty perspective, if you can guess it, I'll make you a moderator because it's a good answer. I'll give you guys like 2 minutes. If you can guess where I'm thinking of, I'll make you a moderator. It is an Elder Scrolls zone, so I'm not cheating by doing some weird town or something. If you guys can think of where I'm thinking of, I'll make you a moderator. You guys have 2 minutes before I tell you what the answer is. Good luck. But I'll give you a hint. It's both lore accurate, and it's also accurate based on just generally how it looks, and it is on this map somewhere. It does exist inside the Elder Scrolls Online already as a universe. I might give you guys a little more time, maybe like 3 minutes, because there's a stream delay. Rather live in Shadowfen than Morrowind. As long as you're a Argonian in Shadowfen, that's probably a good answer. So many zones are just depressing. I'm not going to live somewhere sad. Exactly. And I promise this area is not sad. But it's also not Artam. I'm waiting for the vegetation to recover in the lava-covered lands. Considering the vegetation of Hawaii with active volcanoes has rapid recovery, or consider the rapid recovery of Mount St. Helens. Ash is a great fertilizer. That's true. These are also magic volcanoes, though, that constantly go off, so I don't know how that factors in. But who can guess the zone? Come on. I know somebody's cooking up in their head. What is arguably the best zone to live in? I actually thought of another one that I would probably also consider living in. It's both lore-wise accurate, good, and both just naturally good because of how it is. I'm also taking into consideration the zone story quest there. Artaeum, that's a good answer. Artaeum is a good answer. It is not Artaeum. Kyne's Roost would be nice if you like the island vibe. Not Kyne's Roost, but you're not too far off. Cyrodiil is not the answer. I don't know if I have enough soul gems if I lived in Cyrodiil to live. Betnik, another good answer, not the answer I was looking for. You guys are on the Grotwood. No, I'm not going to live in a place where I have to eat the people off the ground. That just sounds like a not great place. You guys are close. You guys are so close. Stormhaven. We're going backwards. It's not Stormhaven. Stormhaven is a decent answer, but you also have to remember in the zone story quest there, things weren't always going so great. I factor in the zone story quest, the Elder Scrolls lore, and the things that are kind of happening around it also. And also the general economy. Like, obviously, Stros Mackay is probably a pretty safe-ish place to live, but it's still kind of sad. Blackwood. Blackwood is being invaded by Maroon's Dagon. Guys, what are we doing? I was kidding, but, like, no. Blackwood also is a little bit too risky for my taste. Not just the Maroon's Dagon invasion. You got the histories. Not my taste. Ivea was not what I was thinking of, and Clockwork City was also not what I was thinking of. Just because technically Shiograph owns Ivea, you know, it's like a hidden area. It's a good answer though, but it's not what I was thinking of. He's throwing a curveball. He wants to live in the Deadlands. I'll tell you, it's not the Deadlands. The Clockwork City, I also feel like you're so reliant on Sofa Seal. That could be a little bit risky for your well-being. What is the other? I think it's called, yeah, it's Avea, and then I think it's just the Scholarium is the other place. High Isle. Soup, you hit the nail on the head. Do you know why I think High Isle is arguably the best place to live during this whole kit and caboodle? Is because, so the Ascended Lord, so throughout the rest of lore, right, nothing goes on there except like high tier political meetings that generally are very peaceful and passive because everyone just kind of naturally works together. Vardenfell, my gosh. High Isle is also beautiful as a zone. It's very like islandy. It's very resort-esque, very beautiful. And the uprising that's going on there only really targeted the political elite. If you're just some Joe Schmo, you're probably fine. High Isle is lame. Get out of here. High Isle is arguably one of the best answers unless you can live somewhere like magical, like, you know, Artaeum. But even Artaeum, I feel like was Nocturna intended to invade. That's the problem with like Clockwork City, because I think Clockwork City is arguably pretty safe, but you also have to deal with like Daedric princes trying to invade you. Like, no Daedric prince is trying to take over High Isle. You know what I mean? Like, they are trying to take over Somerset. They're trying to take over, you know, Vardenfell. You know, they're trying to take over these other places. So arguably, probably the safest one. What if you just live in Osterus? Where is that? I gotta look that up. Aetherius? I don't even know what that is. I cannot copy my computer. Let's go. Where is this? Wait, this might be the best answer. Where is this? The place where the 9 divines originate. This man just threw a lore curveball at us that I was not expecting. I mean, I guess if you can live with the 9 divines, that's probably a good answer. I guess that's pretty good. Then would the lighthouse be your favorite ESO house? I actually really like the ship is probably my favorite ESO house. Live on Ivea. That's probably fair, but the problem is doesn't Shiograph like take over Ivea for like a long time? And we kind of see how Ivea is, you know, and that could be a little risque. With High Isle, all the convicts are segregated on another island, as if Alcatraz or Australia in the 1700s. Sanguine's realm. I feel like, am I misremembering? Don't you interact with Sanguine in one of the daily, like one of the quests? I'm being attacked. I'm fine. Good. We're good. Don't you interact with Sanguine in like one of like the side quests? There are so many good ESO side quests that just never see the light of day, because like, why would they? You know? Who's interested in doing all these side quests for these lame rewards? And I say lame rewards as somebody that likes the rewards, but like, realistically, why would you do them? But yeah, in theory, that's probably another pretty good answer. I'm trying to think where it would be. I was also thinking the Gold Coast could be a decent answer as well, because, okay, the Dark Brotherhood is fighting the anti-Dark Brotherhood. I don't care. You know, like, I guess if you're somebody who's afraid of making enemies, you know, that could be a bad one. Like, if you're getting teabagged in Cyrodiil and somebody's taking out a hit on you, it's probably not where you want to live. That way you don't get whacked by the Blade of Woe. I think you'd end up with more than 30% interest if you bought from Clavicus Vile. Whatever your soul is worth is how much interest you'd have to pay on that. Potentate's Retreat, that's probably logistically one of the safest houses. There's also a home that literally exists inside of our town that's also probably pretty safe. It's like one of those super yachts, David, that you could just like move around the world anywhere you want to go. I put ballistas on mine too, so that way, you know, stay strapped or get clapped. So I'm ready any moment to fight my fake ballistas. Now, now that we've fleshed out where is the safest zone based on everyone's opinion, what is arguably the most dangerous zone? And you can consider where it is in the current lore. So like dragons and you know elsewhere, you factor that in. You can also factor in any of the anchors that are coming down. You know, you can factor any of those things in. What would you guys say is arguably the most dangerous? Cold Harbor, right out the gate, is probably a decent answer. Cyrodiil is another decent answer. I was thinking that the Deadlands might also be more dangerous. I don't know. Is Cold Harbor more dangerous than the Deadlands? You know, Sword Swingers Redoubt. You know what's honestly, objectively the most dangerous place to live is that one place where everybody murders all the civilians so that way they can get like tons of stolen goods. I think it's in Reaper's March or somewhere. I forget where it is. It's in like one of these zones down here. There's like a town that people just murder everybody constantly. You invited me to trade? What? I don't know what's happening. Pumpkin biscuit. 69 gold. Well, I will give them 420. I know, this is peak humor. Gold Coast is pretty bad current headquarters of the murder enthusiasts, but they only kill people, though, who have, like, marks taken out against them, you know? So it's like, is it really that bad, you know? But all right, what's worse though, Cold Harbor or the Deadlands? Arguably, if you had to would you rather be more worried about fire, brimstone, burning to death, or would you rather worry about cold chains and being enslaved? Like what arguably, if you had to pick between the two, what's worse? Deadlands. Cold Harbor has the safe city. That's a good. Did I not respond to him? I don't know. He must have people have things turned off. I'll just add him as a friend. That way they don't think I'm leaving him behind. That is true. Cold Harbor has the safest city. I think that's honestly probably what makes the difference. You know, Cold Harbor has a city that's literally protected by Meridia. You're not getting that same level of value. Um, that's a great point David brings up. Dark Brotherhood initiation. Any random NPC gets killed. Good point. Being kind, being enslaved is kind of a deal breaker for me. That, you know, that's fair point. You know, what's his name? Maroon's Dagon reminds me a lot of like Korn from the Warhammer universe. You guys know what I'm talking about? And so I don't think that that's better, but I also think Maroon, arguably, I think that if you were like a powerful warrior, right? Maroon's Dagon would probably respect you and let you leave if you were powerful enough. Whereas Cold Harbor would literally just enslave you. Cold Harbor City has no laws though. If you set down anything, anyone can take it. No consequences. That's true too. There's no guards there. But you do have Meridia there. So Meridia, you know, obviously, if you were doing something crazy, she'd probably just teleport you to like, I don't know, Singapore or something. Somewhere far away. That's what makes it so unique, because I think Maroon's Dagon, I think, actually respects humans enough. Like, if they are like revolutionary or good fighters, like he will, you know, let you go even if you don't worship him per se. But obviously, Molag Bal is just going to torture you and enslave you regardless. But also, at the end of the Elder Scrolls Online, everybody's soul gets released from Cold Harbor too. So in theory, the Deadlands is the worst answer, or is worse between the two of them, because after the soul burst or the plane meld breaks, don't you? I'm pretty sure everyone gets freed. That's true too. How many ingredients can you guys get inside the Hollow City? All the plants you could ever need. Boom, right there. Is the Deadlands arguably the worst answer though? Apocrypha? Yeah, it's probably worse than Apocrypha. Yeah. All right. New question that's a little less biased towards evil Daedric realms. Lore wise and current event wise and just natural disaster wise, of the non Daedric realms, including Clockwork City, Artaeum, any of these, only the ones that exist in Tamriel, which is the most dangerous zone, in your opinion, that includes all of the factors? Like, which one of these do you think has the lowest life expectancy? I'll tell you my answer after you've given all your answers, and I'm curious any of you will say the same thing. I don't mind having a random vampire as a meal, but something does not make me feel something does not feel acceptable with Dark Brotherhood contracts. That's fair. Then again, reslay so many, only NPCs get speaking roles, get mercy. That's true. It's like you probably would be a named character, so you probably would be a little safe. But which of these do you think is the most dangerous? I'll tell you which ones came to mind immediately, but I was kind of like, is that the most dangerous? So the number one most dangerous that came to mind immediately was Hrothgar. It sounds innocuous, right? But like, it's a frozen wasteland with mammoths and the only city there that just constantly gets destroyed all the time. Literally in lore, every other year that city is just getting destroyed by every empire that exists. So it would kind of suck to live in a place where your only major settlements are being killed, and then you're in the frozen wasteland. Other ones that came to mind are Vardenfell. You're literally on a gigantic volcano that erupts, and you watch your god get killed in front of you, and a meteor gets dropped on you. Also, suboptimal. You also have Daedric princes constantly trying to invade. So what do you guys think? I mean, even the Westweld, you have a Daedric prince who forgot who they are inside of a realm that is getting it invaded by Miramor. That also is pretty not ideal for living. Imagine your property value. It's probably plummeting. Oh my gosh, I got pulled all the way from over there. What are your guys' initial thoughts? Because I'm so curious where you guys think the most dangerous zone is that's not a Daedric realm. Or any of the other special realms too, like Ivea or any of the other ones. Just the ones that exist on the Tamriel map. What are you guys thinking? What else is there? Because sometimes I think I need to talk myself out of some of these. So like, I thought Elsewhere would be a decent one, but I feel like the Dragon Invasion didn't really do a whole lot, I feel like there was not a lot of danger there. Starter zone, cold, overrun with bandits. Which zone are you talking about? Everyone must flee at the end. Does it start with a B? The one that I'm thinking of does not start with a B. It ends in an N. Give you a clue as to which one I'm thinking about. Somerset, those staircases are too steep and had no railings. And they're also being invaded by Nocturna. And, they're also being invaded by gigantic psychic slugs. Probably not ideal for your property value. Alakir is rough if the undead don't get you. The giant snakes, bugs, and bird women don't get you. The heat will. That's a good answer. Not the one I was thinking of, but it's close. You are on the track that I was thinking, but you're not quite on the same wavelength yet. Cyrodiil, I do also think is a good answer, but Cyrodiil is kind of like almost a cop-out answer because it's kind of like how much death and destruction is actually reasonably happening here. Because a lot of the war, like the Three Banners War, I don't think was actually as bad that people give it credit for. And the Three Banners War also didn't always occur just in Cyrodiil. Um, you know, I'm actually between two places. I'll tell you the one, Imperial City. But I feel like Imperial City is a cop out because it's not a zone. But like, imagine being an Imperial City citizen right now. That would probably not be good. You probably would not be having a great time if you were living in the Imperial City right now. But it's also not technically a zone. It is Craglorn. That is the one that I was thinking of, Living Dead Girl. The reason I think Craglorn is so crazy, it's essentially a desert filled with gigantic monsters being invaded by constellations, and there's only one tiny zone, or like tiny city, excuse me, that even is inside of there. I feel like that's arguably the most dangerous, but if you include the Imperial City, I would argue that the Imperial City is the most dangerous. The problem is the Imperial City is not really a zone, it's literally just like a city. I mean, it's considered a zone just because of how it's coded. Yeah, that's kind of why Kel and I was like, it's not really. I mean, the Imperial City is a zone in ESO, but it's not really a zone anywhere else. It's just like a city that exists. That's why I was kind of like, I don't want that to be my answer. But if somebody said the Imperial City, I would totally get it. That is true, though. Gratwood, Greenshade, and Malbator are covered wood elves that will eat you alive. And unless you're into that, that's probably not ideal for you either. But, like, the thing is like, these zones, I feel like, nature-wise, are at least a little bit safer. I mean, Craglorn, I think, has the mix of, like, danger in lore versus and danger in the actual wildlife, Because, like, some of the zones have danger in lore, like obviously Somerset, danger in lore. It's being invaded by all sorts of crazy shit. But like, it's still a beautiful zone. You still win in the end anyway. So like, how many people were actually killed by the Sea Slodes invasion? How many people actually were killed by Nocturna? Because Nocturna and all that Daedric hoopla going on in there actually got pretty quashed pretty quickly. Oh, that's embarrassing. And so that's where I'm like, I don't think that Somerset is truly that dangerous, even with all those factors going on. And even Murkmire is another great example. Murkmire feels like a pretty safe zone. It's just, you're doing like the zone story quest makes you feel like Indiana Jones, and it's like Indiana Jones just seemed like he was having a good time. What are some other answers that came to my head? Necrom seemed pretty dangerous in the time period. It's kind of volcano-y, Daedric problems. Daedra generally. I mean, some Daedra seem like their problems are more dangerous. Like the Westweld zone seemed really dangerous just because it's like a Daedric prince is literally walking among you and causing an evil incursion. That's pretty bad. But also, too, nobody said this. Rivenspire is like overrun with vampires, and I feel like the amount of dead people in Rivenspire is actually higher than any other zone. I feel like as a civilian, Rivenspire is arguably the most dangerous if you're a current existing citizen there. Bleak Rock Isle. I actually don't remember what the story of Bleak Rock Isle was. It didn't seem like a very happy place, though. What else would be not good? Western Skyrim and the Reach are also kind of getting shafted right now, and they're both not great to live because they're filled with evil werewolves, vampires, and cultists. Like not a whole lot of fun stuff going on between all them. Hmm. What else would be a good answer? Hmm. I mean, northern and southern elsewhere, dragons problematic, and the dragons actually probably did kill quite a few people because like a lot of dragons get out of that one little thing, so that's not good. Use Bane's probably pretty safe. Arteron probably pretty safe. Stone Falls is a little crazy. It's got quite a few volcanoes going through it, volcanic streams. That probably wouldn't be fun to live in. Bank Ride's got a lot of problems going on, but that's mostly, from what I remember, just through the Three Banners War, kind of mumbo jumbo. A wizard, Bleak Rock Wild. A wizard had transformed 3 people into skeevers. Town leaders as you try to find missing folk. Oh, just before the town is overrun by enemy forces and they must flee. All right, that's pretty dangerous, especially because that's like the only thing that's there. Time is it? 9. It's 9 p.m. I'm going to be wrapping up here soon. But I will give you guys the option. Do you guys want a dedicated YouTube video tomorrow on... So I want to break down the currencies a little bit more. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to watch my currency conversion guide. But I want to do more of a breakdown on those. But I don't know which currencies people are interested in most right now, or if they want me to do something different, just because this is kind of recent. If there's any other videos, I was going to do another mythic ranking video. That probably would be a good video for all the new mythics that have come out. So it's kind of like mythic tier list, AP guide, Telvar guide, stuff like that. Is kind of what I was thinking. Just because it's kind of relevant to where we are right now, without, without being too specific. But I also thought too, like a how to make ESO, like a gold guide during a deflated economy might be good, like a dedicated video on gold methods that work, like when the ESO economy is a bit deflated and kind of stagnant. So, are there any ideas that jump out at you from that list? Is there anything that you're like, oh, Jake, do that tomorrow? Because Tuesday will be the Tuesday vendor. Wednesday will be a live stream. No, Thursday will be a live stream. Wednesday will be another video. Forgot I had a soccer game on Wednesday. Friday will be our golden vendor, and then Saturday, Sunday, we might do another live stream again. Maybe with a video too. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't like to recommend a YouTube and a live stream, so like probably less people are being recommended the live stream because it's like, made a YouTube video today, but I was like, you can't not make a YouTube video over the weekend, It's an important time period. At first, I thought ZeniMax was limiting all currents and only going to have gold, so that hooked me to watch your video today. Well, I don't want people to feel clickbaited, because I had people complain on Facebook that they didn't understand what I meant, and I was like, I just wanted to teach everybody how to convert all of their stuff to gold, Like I just want to teach people that stuff. But like, what would you guys like to see tomorrow? Ooh. What are you like? Ooh, do that tomorrow. How's it going, Mr. Medieval? My channel has some changes. Uh-oh. What did you do? I guess I can go look. What do we have? Okay, all right. Putting ESO at the front definitely will help. I think that's definitely a good idea. Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. The only other thing I would change is your thumbnail style is a little similar. I would try to change up your thumbnails a little bit, and I've had a couple other content creators that I look at that kind of do this, and I'm like, your thumbnails look so similar when I'm recommended it. I think that it's a video I've already watched. So, and this isn't a problem like right now because obviously you only have 3 videos, so I would just try to create a style that doesn't look too similar as you kind of continue down that path. Are there any story mode videos to watch so I can rush through them with pugs to reply? Are you talking about like lore videos? I only have a single ESO lore video, and that was about the main story quest. Want to watch the videos of the dark underworld of the ESO community. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that by tomorrow, but we'll keep that in mind. But yeah, the thumbnails look good. I just be careful because like your first and your second video look very similar, and you just want to kind of make sure the styles are different. That way, when people are, imagine if you had already watched a specific video, would you be confused being a recommended one? Because you remember people look at something and they look away immediately. Would people be confused that this potentially is something different or not a different video? That's what you want to kind of be thinking in the back of your head. I'm going to be wrapping up here in the next couple minutes. That way I can get ready for dreading Monday. Got to start the Sunday scaries, at some point. Plus, I also have a burrito that I bought earlier, but I didn't eat it yet because I wanted to stream because I felt like I was running behind. So I have a burrito waiting for me. I've been thinking about it. Just been thinking about that burrito this whole stream. If you guys have suggestions, I'm going to be doing a poll tomorrow. That way we can kind of get an idea of what we're doing. Oh, and the other final tip, too, is just try to shoot for that video length I was telling you. You killed all the way over here. I was nowhere near the Vicious Death proc from those other people. Nowhere near it. But yeah, just try to shoot for that optimal length. 4 to 12 minutes is probably the optimal length for starting a YouTube channel, where it's not too long, not too short, and you can be very informative in that time period without kind of overdoing or underdoing a good point. Train good today. I haven't done it for too long. I always like to encourage people to do it just because of how good it is for people. And a lot of, you see everybody here is like crazy high level. 2000, 2000, 2000, 1800, 2000. I want to see more people doing this that are low level. You're here because you like to help others. You go to work also to help people. I mean, I feel like it's like a nice purpose, It gives you purpose for doing stuff. That's what I like about ESO is like I make ESO videos to teach things that they might not have known previously, That's how I always wanted my content to be different. It's kind of like, here are topics and things that people aren't talking about. This is kind of like how I would do it. And Travis will tell you, I started making YouTube videos is because all of my friends were broke. And I was tired of you guys all being broke. I was like, why do you guys never have more than 20,000 gold to your names when you're in the hundreds of CP? You guys should not be this broke. Please watch this gold guide and please use these tips. Sometimes it's like I like to help people because I'm frustrated with how goofy they are. It's like, come on. Get it together. Get with the program. I'm going to switch this to ending soon. If you guys have final questions or things, just feel free to chuck them out at me. But I'm going to be leaving here soon. I'm going to eat that burrito. And stress out until Monday starts. Like every weekend is intended to end. I pray that tomorrow's not too crazy. And thank you to all of the Twitch subscribers today and all the YouTube subscribers. For the Twitch subscribers, I'll be adding you to the end credits of all the ongoing videos. So thank you guys for that. And thank you to the YouTube subscribers. Some of you who were actually on the stream, unfortunately, I don't know which ones were and which ones weren't, but or which ones were just subscribing off of it. But thank you again to everyone. Travis says some people are just bad at ESO no matter how long they play. That's, fortunately, sometimes accurate when you're trying to help your friends. But thank you guys so much again. Again, if you ever need anything, you have any questions or anything, please put them in the Discord. It's the fastest way to get a hold of me. And I always respond to Discord DMs. Sometimes they pend your guys' messages for like 24 hours or something, but I always make sure I get to them. What, in your opinion, is the best race and class for PvP? I think it depends on your play style. It's like asking what's the best set. I think it just depends so much on your play style. It depends so much on, like, do you like to attack people in different ways? That's why it's hard to ever say what's the best. I do have like 3 intro to PvP videos that are pretty good about teaching people about that type of stuff, so trying to find your way. I personally think that things like Dark Elf are really good, especially for both Magicka and Stamina, just because they have a really good resource pool. Imperials are pretty generically good. There's no really wrong answer. You can build in any race and then just build around it with certain sets. Class, again, it just depends. Like, I like to be a sorcerer, but sorcerers are good at single target damage, versus the, Dragon Knights, which are really good at the 1vxing and everything like that. And then you've got things like Arcanist, which is more of like along the lines of a sorcerer. Templars, which are really generically good throughout every single patch. Really enjoy a good Templar build, but they're a little more up close and personal. Thank you, 23 Guts and Nuts, for the subscription. Dragon Knights, again, is just great overall. I can always suggest Dragon Knights to people. It's good for 1vxing. They're great for both PvP and PvE content. Necromancers, would not recommend a Necromancer. And Wardens are okay and getting buffed, but I think a lot of times Wardens seem to be getting shafted for PvP purposes. So that's kind of what I would say. Generically, you just kind of look at which class you like to play more. Single target damage from a distance. I think sorcerers are really good with their wombo combos. If you like to be up close and personal, your options are Templars if you want really good like single target damage. Arcanist, kind of in that middle ground of can be up and close, but generally kind of far away. Can also kind of do AoEs, but generally is more single target. And then Dragon Knight, so you're up close, in your face, AoE, 1vx classes. But that is where I'm going to wrap up today here. Thank you for that thing, David. Thank you for your nice words. And yeah, I agree with her summation of Sundays. But I want to thank you guys one last time, and I'll catch